Whoops. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don Sutherland. Here. Lisa Noe. Here. Melanie Arbogast.
Present.
Lyle Manette. Here. Debbie Tarian.
Here. Everyone's here. We have I'm seeking approval of the September 9, 2013 board meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to accept the regular board meeting minutes from September 9, 2013.
Is there support?
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Does the board have any perfection of agenda?
Yes.
Okay, what's,
I'd like to address the election.
the upcoming election?
Yes.
Do you want to put it
Put it in the clerk. right?
by the, before the inspector list?
Sure.
Okay. So, election information. Does any other board member have any perfection of the agenda? If not, we'll move to agenda items. The first one is under the clerk's, and we see Mr. Jeff McCray is here, so.
Step right up.
All right. Good evening to the board. Jeff McCray, Burnham & Flower Insurance Group. I'm here tonight to help answer any questions, run through very quickly the property, liability, and crime package. It does renew November the 1st for the township, and hopefully everybody's maybe had a chance to quick glance through the packet. There's a lot there, I know, just about 20 pages worth, and it's broken down into liability for the first several pages, then it goes into your property, and then it concludes with the crime coverage that is provided. All of your property, and that being your structural property, your liability, and your crime coverage is protected through the Michigan Township participating plan. It has for many, many years. No changes there. The price did go down this year a good bit for that. We're seeing some drop off from some of the losses that occurred years ago, so things have started to settle down, which is great. Expect that to continue. Travelers insurance is where we provide protection for the fire department vehicles and equipment, also known as inland marine equipment. They call it that, but it's, again, essentially mobile equipment, so we want the insurance to go with it. But that is covered under travelers. So there is a separate page in the proposal that breaks out that protection. That went up slightly only because we adjusted some figures this year. We were slightly low on some numbers on some vehicles, specifically as times change and values increase. We want to make sure those are at today's renewal prices. So it's very, very solid renewal premium wise, but I always try to list options. And on your invoice, or the last page of the proposal, the page numbers are at the top right hand corner. It's page 25 if you're looking. I did, in the middle of that page, offer 3 different options to reduce premium if it is such desired. If again, I like you to see that there are options, and there is a 4th of actually increasing protection. Right now, for your property coverage, and that is again through the Michigan Township participating plan, your deductibles are $500. You have the option to double those deductibles. So if damage occurred, say to the township hall, you instead of having a $500 deductible would then have $1,000. And that would save some monies, as you can see on option A. Option B gives you the option to take all of those items I mentioned covered with travelers insurance, and you could move those under the Michigan Township participating plan. We've offered this in years past. The coverage is slightly different, and I mean, quite honestly, for the savings that have been offered here to us by the Michigan Township participating plan, I don't necessarily think it justifies the strong protection that Travelers provides for specialized emergency vehicles and equipment, but it is an option. Now, the last option to decrease any premiums is option C. I rarely would advise altering your liability coverage.
Okay, where am I missing option C?
I'm not seeing it either.
Not
Well-
seeing option C,
You've just got A and B.
I do.
Okay, well, I have C and D. I don't know. Huh, let me see if it's on my,
Yeah, that's this book, yeah.
well,
Look at you, that one.
Yes, she did. That's when you're supposed to return them, but that's okay.
What is?
It's one of those, when you're done signing.
Okay.
if
This
you,
one's clean.
if you feel,
She has the extra copy with her.
if you'd like to just jot these down, there was two others that popped up on my radar.
See?
Option C,
Mhm.
right now your liability protection is at a limit of $5 million. That is extremely commonplace with entities that are, that operate fire departments. That's very, very common. That is the highest limit offered. However, again, because of just, I want to look at what's available, I did look at reducing that down to the next level, which would be 4. And that would be a savings of $19.17. Should you, if we're working in line with any budgets. That's why I like to at least have that on the table. But that would reduce protection, so it's important to note that.
So it decreases it by how much?
A million.
$1 million, yeah.
No, the,
1917.
Could you, Laura, could you do me a favor and make 5 copies of that? I think that'd be easier for us. If you make that, just that sheet.
Certainly, just that page, yep. And then the last one was option D, to increase zoning protection. And then that you'll see on that page as well. We did increase that last year, and so I think that's a very strong area where you're currently at. But it's kind of my due diligence just to show you that there is higher limits available, just so you're aware, more than anything. I don't think there's any reason at this point in time, but it is available.
And the Provident portion is just a heads up of.
Heads up
coming
that we handle that for you, and that renews,
July,
correct. That should be listed at the bottom of your Provident protection.
it's on,
it's on the top of it. It's right
yeah, it's on the sheet,
Yep, okay.
Provident, yep. And then we have, through the accident fund, workman's compensation part.
Correct, and that's a separate bill as well. That is something that we can't provide in the same package. They have to send their own bills. That's how that works. So yes, workers' compensation insurance, which is required, the Provident program, which is accidental death, disability protection for fire department staff, a whole host of benefits with that program. Fire department would ever like a review of those, I'd be happy to cover those as well. There's a whole host of very, very good benefits. Thank you.
I will point out too, Jeff came and Larry and Lisa both went through the whole list of everything he had. Thank you. On that. Okay, we have all kinds of chicken scratch on here.
That's me. You can just,
Does it tell us what we paid in these years?
that is correct.
That's good.
That actually is helpful. And see what we have on here, on our page, shows the 23,279 as the MTPP renewal. And you have 22,921, so it didn't even show us. It's good we have this, The inland marine, we understood went up because there was a question of, on the fire trucks and the equipment included on those fire trucks that weren't actually part of the truck, but had to be included.
Correct.
I remember that. So the NTPP renewal went down, travelers inland went up. If we increased the property deductible to $1,000, one incident would wipe out that credit, basically, because we have a $500 deductible. And fire vehicle, RC and inland marine too. And I think you explained to us pretty well about the difference between travelers and the coverage of replacing a fire truck versus, I can't remember what it was called before, where,
Travelers has their line item and their definition is called guaranteed replacement cost. They are willing to supplement any difference in a loss of a fire truck, whereas there is a limitation to the Michigan Township participating plans coverage.
okay.
And that was really the main difference. There are some other bells and whistles with the Travelers program as well, but that's the big one on how they'll replace a truck.
Well, truthfully, if we switched to you, that took into account the changes we had to make regarding the vehicle coverage, correct? But
It
it's still,
does.
it still doesn't seem like it's enough credit to me to help there. I can't see decreasing the liability is a good thing. And the increasing the zoning, what do we currently have?
250.
So that doubles that for another
Correct.
$125 a year.
Correct. You're at I would say with the industry standard in the township community. I mean, I see a lot of townships up and down the west side of the state. When I get closer to Grand Rapids and some areas where there's a lot more activity going on, they are in that realm of the 500 and up to $1 million in that coverage. It's dependent. It can be dependent upon activity in that arena and how you want to strengthen that coverage. It's just my due diligence to let you know that there are higher limits available.
We did, on this sheet that you gave us here, it does not have the non-monetary coverage we had selected as additional last time.
It is included on page,
Okay.
it's in the proposal on page 9, and you'll see it there now. It's sticks with you.
Okay, so it's a given.
It is with you, yep, moving forward.
Okay.
Page 9, top right-hand corner, are the page numbers.
Okay,
It's written about the middle of the page. It says non-monetary suit defense cost coverage included.
okay, where am
I don't see that
I?
at
I'm not
all.
seeing it on page 9. Are you sure we have the same thing you do?
You ought to, yeah. Sure ought to.
Well, I'm afraid we might not.
What's it say there?
We might have to, get good copies and go over this again. Okay, see what we got?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a little bit of a complication. Go ahead and, that was a question I had. I'm sure you don't know off the top of your head, and this is what I went by, and I'm sure,
Right.
my complication is, we really need a clean copy
Sure,
with
Okay.
all that, if we can get it.
you can.
And-
You'll have it tomorrow.
I apologize for,
I apologize. I
as
don't
a
know what
board,
happened.
I don't believe we should act on this,
No.
because we don't have the correct information. And I'm not sure what happened either, but your information's really good.
Yeah, I know for a fact this is, if it was a printing discrepancy, I can't explain it. It's something I do not handle, but I will have it handled tomorrow.
Thank you. I know we ran into a complication last year. My question then is, if our effective date is supposed to be November 1st and our meeting is not until November or something else, are we covered until we can consider it at the next meeting?
Coverage remains intact.
Okay,
It would be the 11th.
the 11th, it would be, not even that.
Coverage remains intact.
Okay.
there would have to be a formal notification from the company, and that is not something that would happen, so.
Okay, well, is there anything else off the top of your head that you can think about? Just so we have a heads up on what we're gonna get from you with the corrected?
Yeah, I mean, everything should remain the same other than those couple of options, and, it might behoove me to take one of the proposals that was sent, if I might,
Sure.
and I'll make sure that everything's taken care of. No, the only other thing I wanted to leave you with was another benefit of being part of the Michigan Township Participating Plan. I do have this now, it's the grant information updated. This is the application.
Wonderful.
The dates were correct, as I had presumed. It's October 1st through November 30th. You do have till November 30th to apply.
Okay.
In Muskegon County alone, there's been several. Whitehall Township was one that was awarded that I was involved with, and security camera was something that they were awarded. Just over $3,000 in grant monies to have a very nice high definition security camera installed, along with the monitoring system and software inside. They can access that when they're not at the hall. That's just an example, but these grant monies are for liability reduction types of projects. So if we can get creative, something like that, playgrounds, upgrades, things like this, things where we want to avoid potential loss.
Okay.
And if a security camera is certainly something that could help with that, as an example.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. I think I'm gonna ask the board for a motion to table the insurance proposal for our November 11th meeting. Do I hear a second?
Support.
Lyle, Don moved, Lyle supported. Roll call.
Don,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Melanie.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, you wanted to add
I do.
election information?
Want to add election information. Just wanted to remind everyone that there is an election on November 5th. Please put it on your calendars. Please make sure you come out and voice your votes. Please and thank you. See you then.
Okay. And your
And
election,
my last,
what's your document number on your election inspector list? That would be, that actually was, the insurance was supposed to be first, right?
we're gonna go with 10, 14, 13.
10, 13, 13, okay.
Is that the same list as before? I didn't get a list.
The election, is this one?
No, I didn't get that.
That was earlier on in the month, we got it?
Yeah, I passed.
Do you
them
have-
out.
I just put on with this.
Okay.
Okay, the following is the list of election inspectors for November 5th, 2013 special election. I've asked Barb Cassidy to be chairperson, Marion Nash, Diana Plank, Laura Pikecraft, Helen Stockman, Sandy Wilson, and Sue Winnicky if we need her. I'd like to hear a motion to it. If we.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry,
It's
sure.
okay. It's document number, you didn't give the last.
Let's go 01.
Okay. You've heard her
Want me
request
to
for inspection list?
Repeat the list again?
Actually, you don't need to repeat the list, we have it for,
How
it's
are you
document,
gonna determine who is needed? When do you determine that?
It's a smaller election, so just a handful of people will be needed.
But I mean, how are you gonna know whether it has Sue on there or not?
If somebody calls in sick, or if somebody calls at the last minute and says, I can't do it,
has to leave early.
or has to leave early.
So you've heard the election list, document number 101413-01. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So,
I have a motion for and a second of Don. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion has carried.
and I have one more thing. And the document number on this is 101413-03. I have two proposals for consultation for financial reports in education and the accounting program. We've had some difficulty transitioning from the old program, the SAGE program, into the Ponton program. Ponton has been really supportive, however, it's the hands-on stuff that I'm having some difficulty with. Mr. Arbogast has presented me with a consulting proposal, and I can read that. This proposal is to provide counseling to the clerk for the production of reports from the computer program, accounting programs regarding the financial activities of Blue Lake Township. The clerk will perform all keystroke activity on the computer, and the fee shall be at the rate of $50 an hour. And I also have one from Lake Michigan CPA Services. We are providing this consulting proposal to assist Blue Lake Township with utilizing the new accounting software package to maintain the township books and reconcile all accounts on a monthly basis. We will also help with cleaning up problems within the general ledger. Excuse me, provide guidance on implementing tax and state accounting regulations, and provide support when the clerk and treasurer have problems balancing their records. She is offering, or proposing a $50 an hour fee and up to 10 hours. Any additional time will be agreed upon before any new work begins. So we need to look at which proposal to go with.
Any recommendation?
My personal recommendation is to go with Lake Michigan CPA.
That's in.
Madam Chairman,
With that, you're talking about the fact that it also will help with learning to do
The new program.
new
that's
program.
correct. Yes.
If you would. Fred-
I am
Fred has-
withdrawing my proposal, effective now.
So noted, Fred Arbogast has withdrawn his proposal, effective immediately. So you're looking at one proposal.
Okay.
This is, I know there's been a complication with transitioning from the Sage to the Ponton. And so I understand that, there's been some information regarding, the, what is it called, receiving portion. So this isn't just limited to, the clerk's portion regarding, working within the program, it also includes.
I use the cash receipting, I haven't had,
Yeah.
I
If there
actually
is,
balanced with that, so.
I mean, if there is any problems, it's not limited
Yeah,
to
right.
just the clerk.
Right, yeah.
Okay, the document number is, any more discussion from the board? Document number is 101413-03. I am with a maximum dollar amount of $500. I'm seeking a motion from the board for approval.
I make a motion that we approve document 101413-03 for up to $500.
Is there support?
Support.
Do we have to amend the budget first?
Should do it.
Can we run
Well,
into a problem before?
We haven't, yeah, we actually, we're contracting well.
Yeah, it would've
We
been,
have to create a line item, actually,
For consulting.
yeah, for a line item for consulting. Yeah. We will have to amend the budget to include that line
We
item.
need to table this.
But isn't that necessary before the vote?
That's
Well, that's
just
Before
the
we
same
Right.
approve
now.
it, don't we have to get it in the budget first?
That's why I just asked, should we
We can
table this until?
amend the budget, what we
line
don't
item?
have is a line item number. We can create a line item of consulting fee and put $500 in there. What we don't have is the literal number she'd have to use.
Do we have
Because you have to
to,
go to Uniform Chart of Accounts to find it.
do we have to vote on that though in order to create that line item?
What?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm gonna say yes.
okay.
So it would be called, we also have another amendment that we're gonna be looking at. So, I ask then, Debbie, you made the motion. Actually,
I'll
no,
retract it.
no, I'm gonna ask you to amend the motion to include the,
Budget.
amending the budget for this consulting fee. Would you be,
But we don't know where we're going to get the money from yet. is
it will
that
be
correct?
out of the general fund. It's a 101 still. We know the fund, we just don't know the numbers that go behind it.
I still want to know when it's coming.
There isn't a line created at this point, so it's still the general fund, which would be the 101 fund. We don't know the department because it isn't, there isn't a number.
I'm not willing to change it right
Okay.
now.
Well, we have a motion on the floor in a second. I asked for the $500. I asked for a roll call vote.
Debbie,
No.
Lisa,
No.
Don,
Yes.
Melanie,
What, you're messing me up.
Melanie,
I'm gonna vote no.
Lyle.
No.
We will, so the motion is defeated. We will need to, she will have to resubmit a proposal if she wished to have it considered because we made that motion with that document. Right, but we have to create line items for something through the uniform budget. All right, that's the, now we're on to the treasurer.
So will this be done at the next meeting? Is that what?
Actually, no, we defeated that proposal because we declined it, so she will have to resubmit a proposal for the next meeting. Because we didn't have, it was not, right, through roll call, it was not
So
supported.
Lisa will not get any help until
That's
next
correct.
month.
Correct. Correct. Unless we're willing to amend the, or to amend the budget. Regarding the fund, I know, but I'm saying we can still amend the budget. That's the proposal. We can still amend the budget.
Go get the book.
No, we have just one. So we will go with that because there already was a motion on the floor. Debbie, treasurer, ACH payment information.
Okay, this is just for everybody's information. We always vote on whether or not to pay our automatic clearinghouse payment, which is for the taxes for the payroll checks. And because today is the 14th, our payment has to be in by the 15th, which you have to do it the day before, so I had to make the payment already. So, you know, unless there's something that changes with the amount or whatever, but I had to make the payment today before the meeting. This is just for everybody's information, just so everybody knows that when it happens to fall on a day like today, the 14th, I have to make the payment before the meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
Everybody understand that?
June.
The brush disposal, we have brush that Bob's been working on for maintenance that's ended up around the outskirts of the township hall here because we don't really have woods. And there's some over at the dam. And when we went through the dam proposal and amended that budget, I was remiss and didn't think about the disposal of any of that. So There is a fee to take it to our dump in our township. It is, I believe it's anywhere from $15 to $25, depending on if it's a level, oversized truck or what. Our maintenance person figures there's approximately 3 of these
3 loads.
loads, yeah, but they're not level loads, probably oversized loads. That need to be taken if you include the stuff, all the stuff at the dam. So that would be something that we would need to take care of. I would propose it comes out of ground maintenance and that we take this to the dump, because otherwise we just keep building up around the perimeter here. And I don't think it's a good thing for fire reasons, plus that it's starting to look worse and worse. I'm not sure that we don't fall over on Gerber's property with our stuff also sometimes. So I guess what I want to know is if we can approve, say, 3 trips to the dump, that would be probably $25 each, just as a guesstimate, so approve $75 worth of fee to remove that from our township and over by the dam and haul it to our dump. So it'd be $75.
I'll make a motion. Do we have to amend the budget?
No, it's in the, under
To pay
grounds
for
maintenance, yeah.
up to 3 loads at $25 a piece to remove brush.
From both
From around the township and
Yeah. the dam, township and the dam,
and the
township hall and the dam. Is there support? I support the motion. Roll call, please.
Lisa,
Yes.
Melanie,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
John.
Motion is carried. Budget amendment. The same token, this is a budget amendment on the general fund. This is where I'm talking about the fund of 101, and it's the building and grounds department. Maintenance mileage. Our problem is in this, between what he's had to go get and the fact that he's had to go, same thing, over to the dam. I didn't put, we just put payroll in the dam fund regarding that. So part of that is his mileage will exceed his $500. I'm asking to amend it to $900. This includes travel to get stuff. It does not include travel to the township hall or home. He doesn't include personal travel, so.
So why do we need $400 more?
I'm not sure what we're gonna need, and we certainly can change that dollar amount, but this goes through potentially March. So I'm not sure. By any guess, we'll know better next year, or for this year's budget cycle, but right now,
So it was $400 and now we're changing it to $900. Is that correct?
no.
It was $500 and we're
No,
changing
it
it
was actually less than that when we started.
It was
like
$200
$200 when we started.
started.
We amended it to $500.
And we did that because of the trailer pickup in.
Yes, correct, and that had to do with the trailer. So that was, but now we're going, and it doesn't have to be 900, that was just a rough figure for through the end of the year.
Where are we at right now?
If we're at, if he receives his pay for this last one, which is debatable if it's not amended, because it would put it $26.59 over. So it would be $526.59 if you include this last mileage. The average, I don't know if it's $100 a month, I think it will slow down in the winter, but I don't know that for sure.
I know we do the plowing and stuff at Station 2, but who does the
No.
shoveling?
They do, by the door,
Yeah.
I believe they're supposed to, they do here. They shovel by the door.
Firefighters do.
I'm not sure, but I think that they shovel by the door. The plow gentleman
Oh,
shows
they
by the
did,
door.
okay.
Seems like that's an awful lot of additional money,
But,
just to go to the dam and back.
oh, it's not just, it's the rest of the year.
Well, I know,
Oh, you
but-
mean,
But that's the only increase is that amount, right?
no, we had no idea exactly what to put in there the first year. We haven't, he's gone to, when we've had supplies, that's been for the fire department's been charged mileage to the fire department, and to the township has been supplied to the township. Regarding signs or where we have them go from here,
Granted, a lot of it was used to go pick the trailer up, but that was kind of an unforeseen.
that was the,
I
yeah, 300,
understand
yeah.
that. That's not the question.
So, it doesn't have to be the 900, we can change that if you feel that's too high. But we need to do something because we're only into September and we haven't even,
6 more months.
we haven't even started with leaves and getting rid of that, and that's going to the second fire. Yeah, we have, you're right, 6 more months.
Yeah, that's what I, okay.
So it shouldn't be, it's not amending it another $900, it's amending it up to 900. So it's another $400.
Okay.
And this is document number 101413-04. Do I hear a motion for approval?
I make a motion for approval of document 101413-04 to amend the budget for $400 for building and maintenance mileage.
Is there support?
Second.
Roll call.
Lisa,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Lyle,
Yes.
Debbie.
Yes.
Motion carried. Codification. Everybody got their copy. The first portion of the codification deals with overall, mostly overall township ordinances. It doesn't go into the zoning ordinance per se. I did send a copy to Jim to look over too regarding that, but it really doesn't go into that yet. That's coming at a later date. What we need to do, because this is new to the board, I would like to set up a special meeting to work on this. This is something that is definitely all new, and we definitely have to figure out how to work through this
Is
as
this
we go
something we
through the
want to
process.
set up a meeting with the company?
No, this is just a special
Just
meeting.
for us.
This is our portion
Okay.
that we have to work on, that they sent us. If we have any questions, we can certainly contact them.
We're going to set up a meeting now.
Yes. Yep. So who's got a,
I'm available most any evening,
really better in the day, yeah?
in the afternoon.
I'm looking at October. Debbie, were you gonna be gone Okay,
Next
when-
week,
next week?
21st through the 23rd.
Okay. And I have, this week I have meetings all week, so after the 25th, what about the 28th at 2 p.m.?
I'm working then.
That's true, you're afternoon hours. Okay. Let
Why don't we
me
go
see.
Tuesday, can we go Tuesday in the afternoon?
Tuesday the 29th at 2 p.m.?
I have a treasurer's meeting, but I should be able to get back.
No, we did that last time. We were really struggling.
Unless we went.
How about either we make it 3, would that be? Or do you want a different day because you have that meeting?
No, 3 is okay.
Okay, so why don't we go Tuesday, October 29th, 3 p.m. to work on the codification,
So October 29th,
3 p.m.
3 o'clock.
Do I hear a motion to set up a special meeting? On October 29th, 3 p.m.?
I'll make a motion to set up the meeting on 10/29/13 at 3 p.m. to discuss the codification.
Okay, I'll have support it. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, everybody has a copy of the tire grant resolution. It is the same as it's just mimicking the last resolution. Laketon Township, once again, is heading up, trying to get a grant for tire removal. We removed a total of 646 tires were removed from our township in the grant that was this year. What we need to know is if the board is willing to participate in that again. The big part was the work itself on the tire day. We all did come out alive, barely, but very dirty, but alive. Yeah. So, does everybody, is there any thoughts on whether or not you want to participate? I think it was a
that was
wonderful
a
thing.
great thing.
You were there, so you saw
Yeah.
tires coming in. So we do have a resolution number, resolution is RES 10-14-13-01.
We already used that one though.
No, this is resolution RES versus
okay.
document.
Oh, versus
Thank you, though.
document, sorry.
Yep, no, thank you. And it is, do I hear a motion for approval?
Does this mean that the grant's already approved?
No, this is just applying for the grant. You have to have resolutions from the townships that are willing to participate
And then-
in order to apply for the grant. So the grant, what they did was move the grant date up. It used to be March, now it's October 25th is the day that the grant application has to be in. I'm thinking that part of that was because it was such a scramble between when they got the applications, when they reviewed them, and when they granted them, that we were right to the last minute to know if we had it. So, that's all I can suppose why they moved it up so many months. But there's a request on the floor to adopt this motion for resolution 10-14-13-01. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution 10-14-13-01.
Is there support?
I support.
Roll call, please.
Lyle,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Yeah.
Don.
Motion is carried. And we'll get her a copy of that. Last month we had Ware Cemetery, which nobody left happy because the way we got the bill, the way we interpreted the bill, the motion we made included cleaning up the area. Lisa talked to Al Stanley once, I talked to Al Stanley once, we talked to Al Stanley together, he was willing to write it off, walk away from it. Because he said, yes, that is the way he wrote up the proposal. He accepted the fact that when we presented it and he agreed to it, understanding that there was supposed to be someone else removing not the brush, the stumps, right. So, we worked on it and we met with Al Stanley only in regard was saying, okay, he showed where he paid for that. There was a ticket of how many were hauled in. He showed where he paid for it. So after we met with him, he asked about his ability to get a
Credit.
donation receipt like thing so that he could claim it. I did take that to Doug because I said I want to know for sure that that's something we can do. And he asked if we paid the $480 and I said no, he paid the $480. So then can we make it, we have to write it out correctly, but make that, because he didn't receive anything from us for that $480. He didn't receive compensation in goods or in monetary. So if the board's willing, I will draft a donation receipt to him covering that $480. He was more than willing to accept that. That works for him in the business sense regarding that he paid it out and was not compensated. So that's where we're at with that $480. Because like I said, nobody was happy, but it was what we did.
If he's happy with it.
Yep, I can say what I think. Lisa was there also.
He was very content with that, was very understanding of what was left out of the whole process and very gracious. I can't think of another word. I mean, he was very pleasant to work with and understood his errors and being able to get that money, and I would totally support drafting up a letter, Melanie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Pardon?
And pay the extra.
No, we're not
No.
paying, we're just saying that, because in essence, he still is paid out that money to haul those stumps. And so what we're doing is saying that you donated that service, that value, the $480, to the township, and you received no goods or compensation for that. That in turn he can take through his, against the bill and the fact that he paid that out. So there isn't any, not a dollar amount paid out, but a
So it'd be like a write-off. towards
donation,
the
correct. Correct, it works against him and his
So
business.
do you need a motion for that?
I actually would like one.
I would like to make a motion that you draw up some type of letter stating that,
Yeah, well, it's regarding
Lost my
a
words.
donation receipt.
Correct.
Donation receipt.
Thank you, that you draft up a donation receipt to give to Al Stanley for his services,
In the amount,
$480.
if you would kindly read that back, Laura, when you,
To draw up a donation receipt for the amount of $480 to Al Stanley for his services.
It didn't sound that nice when I
and
said
then, I have to draft this one.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
That's the motion from Lisa, is there support?
I support.
And Debbie supported, because it has to do with monetary roll call.
Lisa,
it. Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Melanie,
I,
Don.
I gotta say yes.
okay,
Can I say something? I have to say yes because for the first time in several years, someone walked up to me and said, "Oh, those cemeteries look great."
well, that actually should have been in the commentary.
Huh?
That should have been in the commentary.
Well,
Okay. All right, so I'll do that. That's definitely something I think we should do. All right, Mr. Fire Chief, if you would kindly step up.
A few weeks ago, I gave each of you a report on our, I want to put this up here for clarification, response time. Back around, before the beginning of the year, I was curious to see, I was wondering how we were doing in terms of our time that we get to the scene and the number of people that were sent there. Did some looking around for some information on that, and I found in an article that covered NFPA 1720 standard, which deals with staffing and response times. And we fit under the category of rural area, less than 500 people per square mile. And the only response time that I could find was for structure fires, which is sending 6 people, having 6 people on the scene within 14 minutes. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take that and I made up a response time criteria for some of the other incidents that we respond to, which you got on page 1 of this handout that I gave you, this report that I gave you. So we have structure fires, vehicle fires, wildland fires, fire alarms, and the number of people and the amount of time that we like to have them there on the scene. And then I expanded that into medicals, cardiac and other, with 2 categories, and then into PIs, accidents, which are, or any type of accident. And then working down into some of our minor calls, carbon monoxide alarms, no symptoms, carbon monoxide alarm symptoms, other, wires down, ground search and rescue, and so on, okay? And I kept the number 14 minutes because, again, this was something that was suggested by NFPA for a fire department our size. So that's the time here. And came up with the amount of personnel that myself and the officers felt were sufficient to have on the scene within that 14-minute period of time. And that's what made up the front page of the handout that I gave you. Okay? So those are our goals. And like the NFPA 1720 recommends, it's a goal. It's not something we have to do, it's a goal that we want to attain. So up until now, since the beginning of the year, through call number 148, which was a day or two ago? Yeah. We had 148 calls, and we have, our response time is 85%. Now, the NFPA wants 80%, okay? So we're beyond that. So I just wanted to make you aware of what we're doing in terms of getting to the scene in a reasonable amount of time. I know when somebody calls the fire department, it seems like it takes forever to get there. And we don't always get there in the time that we would like to get there, but we are above our goal. We are above the goal of 80% that the NFPA recommends. So we're going to tweak this program a little bit at the before next year. There are some things that, well, for example, we had a call the other night. We had a hydrant leaking in the scout camp. And that went out as a spill alarm, so we're going to take a look at that and see what we can do. There are some things that we really can't do anything about because if we respond on emergency, like we did to that call, we can't really hold ourselves accountable for a time. We can hold ourselves accountable for a response and a sufficient number of people,
But does
but
that
not for
affect
time.
your
ISO rating? It could, down the line. And that's another thing I want to look into. And, you know, I know it will for structure fires, okay? Will it for all these other ones? I don't know because there's nothing stated for these other ones. This is one, these are things that we made up so we can measure our response time. Things that we'll do in the past, in the future, I mean, will be to take a look at some other categories and take a look at some of the categories we have, which a ground search and rescue is within the township is realistic. Okay, to have 6 people on the scene, and I gave ourselves 20 minutes there because we do have to put things together. We got to hook up the trailer and assemble our people and everything. Outside the township, we can't really judge that because it all depends on where we are outside the township. With any call, any auto aid or mutual aid call, we can't really put a time on it. We can put a number of people, but no time. So we are not going to, we're definitely not going to lower the times because I don't want to encourage speeding, okay, whether it's speeding to the station or speeding with the trucks. And that response time, by the way, that 14 minutes includes the time that we get the tones. And most of us respond from home or from wherever we are in the township or even outside the township. And then have to get to the station, get the truck, and get to the scene within that period of time. So I think that's a pretty good response time percentage that we're maintaining, 85%. And as I was looking at my percentages here, we've been at 85% for a good couple months. Before that, we were at 87%. And of course, early in the year, we were in the 90s. That's easy to do at the beginning of the year. So we'll continue that next year and kind of grade ourselves on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The other thing is the heat loss inspection. We're going to start doing those again. We will get this out to the public, and if they want their home inspected for heat loss, we will send an engine there with our TIC, our thermal imaging camera. We'll do a walk around on the outside of your home, and we'll show you areas where you are losing heat. We did this for the past 2 years, and we haven't had very many. We are going to start it November 1st, and we are going to end it whenever the snow gets too deep that we can't walk around your home. Okay, so that's
free of charge, right?
Yes, that's free of charge. And just so the residents here know, and pass this around, we're also going to take a look at your address visibility. We have had a problem with that. Some addresses on homes blend right into the homes. Some we can't see because the home is way off the road and there's no address or a very difficult to see address on the mailbox. We had one that was washed, must have been on the mailbox for years. It was kind of washed off to the point where we couldn't read it. So we're gonna do that and make some recommendations there, especially with the address markers that we have. We really depend on those things a lot. They're very helpful. And then we're also gonna take a look at your driveway. There are some driveways that, and I mentioned this before, and the people who attend these meetings regularly, you know that there are some driveways that we cannot get down with our big trucks. So we're gonna send our medical truck that has a pump on it and 300 gallons of water, and we're gonna do what we can with that. You know, we have to realize this. We do have ways of getting water to that truck once we get the truck down your driveway. But we're gonna do that too, and maybe make some recommendations on how you can better maintain your driveway so we can get the bigger trucks down there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, payable.
For the ACH warrant account, Debbie had mentioned it was already paid this morning because of the deadline. The amount was $2,566.10. And I make a motion that we cover the amount that was already paid.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Lyle,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Melanie.
Aye. Motion is carried.
For September 2013 expenses, general fund, $118,430.69. Fire operating fund, $6,236.88. Streetlight fund, $364.16. PTAF fund, $1,128.85. Fire equipment, $3,002.31, for a total of $129,162.89. And I move that we pay these accounts.
Second.
Now when I say it.
Well, yeah, actually, there was a question Debbie had on this before. You went right into the motion, but, Debbie has a,
Oh, I just want to let everybody know that it doesn't add up to the amount of the bills that the checks that I'm sending out, but it's only off by $1.25, so I would say that I would vote for the bills to be paid with knowing that a correction will be made.
would you amend your motion to
Yes.
include that the bills are paid with a
With the corrections.
research that $1.25 and make correction accordingly and distribute it to the board?
Yes.
So Lyle accepts that. Is there support?
I support.
Roll call, please.
Lyle,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Don,
Yes.
Lisa.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Before we go to public comments, we have a representative, our Colleen Lamonte is here. Wherever my note is. Hopefully she'll give us some good legislative news.
Yes, good evening. Colleen Lamonte, 10115 Walsh Road, Mountain View, Michigan, State Representative for the 91st District. I can tell you just a few things that might be of interest to you as far as local government issues. We did pass a bill in the House to increase the budget stabilization cap. It is currently at 15%. We increased it to 20%. Not that I'm expecting a lot of townships or city councils that are going to be probably dealing with this, but this is mostly for counties. So there were some counties in the state that were kind of bumping up against that 15%, and they wanted to raise it up so they could increase that budget stabilization fund they keep. Election recount fees. We also passed a bill out of the House that would increase these. So the proposed bill has an increase of from $10 per precinct up to $25 per precinct. But if the difference in the vote count is over 0.5% or 50 votes, it would go to $125 per precinct. And I think the goal of the bill is to avoid unnecessary recounts and unnecessary use of township and cities personnel for, recounts that probably aren't going to make a difference in the change in the election results. We also passed a bill that will be going to the governor's desk for signature on ORVs. This will allow townships and local municipalities to determine whether or not they would like to have ORVs to be driven on the sides of the roads. We had a bill that came forward to set in statute mental health courts in our state that will be going to the Senate for consideration. We also, in the House, we adopted the Common Core with some language that talked about how the testing will be done. So there's going to be some further considerations on how testing will be done in our state. We're not necessarily signing on to the smart surveillance system that is going along with the Common Core. This was also sent over to the Senate. We're waiting to see what they're going to do on that. Right now, we've got parts of our Department of Education that are shut down right now because they cannot use any funding that has anything to do with Common Core issues until we take care of this as a state. So, another thing that we did, we passed out of the House an increase in the hunting and fishing license fees. I actually did not support this. You may have gotten a robocall on this. But I don't feel that our people in our state that are struggling right now should be looking to pay increased fees for hunting and fishing. I think when we start improving our economy, we can start looking at increasing our fees, but until then, I think we need to keep our fees the way they are. But so that's been passed out of the House and is on its way to the governor for a signature. I can take any questions at this time.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think, if anything, maybe copies of what those bill numbers are.
Oh, absolutely.
So that would be helpful, then people can. Okay, we're moving to the public comment section. Any person may speak up to 3 minutes during the public comment section. I want to remind everybody to please step up to the podium, identify who they are by name and address, and address your comments to the board, please, and be respectful. So, having said that, public comments? Anyone would like to?
Good evening. Michelle Bridges, Blue Lake Fire Department.
Address, please? Okay, you respectfully decline. I can
Thank you.
accept that.
On September 28, 2013, Walkerville Fire Department allowed us to pick up their smoke and fire safety trailer 3 days earlier than our annual fire prevention open house. We requested it early so we could take that with our fire safety prevention program on the road to reach out to and train some of the children in our community that may not have been able to attend our fire prevention open house that following week, October 1st. We were able to teach and have the children actually practice kitchen safety, stay low and go, stop, drop, and roll, and many other safety techniques. We knew we were a success when we saw the expression on their faces of seriousness when they wanted to learn, the excitement that they were learning, and when we knew we added over 50 more children and at least 10 more adults to our community that day that now know how to escape from their home if they should experience a fire, and they also set other in-home safety goals.
Thank you very much. And I will say, if you don't feel comfortable stating your address, perhaps just whether or not you're a resident for anyone. You should have no problem. Okay.
My name is Beth Phillips. I reside at 1053 Holton Whitehall Road. I will mention though that my house does not sit on Holton Whitehall Road. It sits on a private drive called Whippoorwill Lane. On October 5, 2013, I received a 3-page letter from a Bob Dornbush. It was hand-delivered to my mailbox. It was a letter regarding his concern with home addresses located on a private drive called Whippoorwill Lane, where I live. Whippoorwill Lane is located approximately 3 miles east of Whitehall, just off Holton Whitehall Road. Although our homes are located on the north side of Whippoorwill Lane, our street addresses are Holton Whitehall Road. Mr. Dornbush is apparently upset with the fact that our house numbers are odd numbers. Our homes are located on the south side of Holton Whitehall Road, which then makes our odd numbers correct. I spoke with Mr. Dornbush on October 6th. I relayed to him my displeasure with his investigation into our supposedly incorrect addresses. I believe he has overstepped his boundaries by taking this matter upon himself without our knowledge. I told him that he should have contacted all who reside on Whippoorwill Lane before pursuing this. We, those of us who reside on Whippoorwill Lane, are well aware of the potential emergency delays due to our home locations and street addresses. In order to make our homes more easily found by emergency personnel, we chose a road name, which is Whippoorwill Lane. We purchased a sign, and we placed it at the entrance to our private road. We have also placed emergency address signs at the entrance. We believe that these changes have made our home locations much easier to find, and my purpose for addressing the board tonight is to inform you of my receiving of this letter and my conversations that I had with Mr. Dornbush. I would like the board to be aware of my displeasure with Mr. Dornbush's investigation with my home address without my knowledge. I believe he should have spoken with the Whippoorwill residents prior to his investigation. If he had, he would have had knowledge that was more factual and up to date. Then none of this investigation and the time and energy spent by many people involved in this would never have been necessary. Please note too that the residents on Whippoorwill Lane do not wish to have their addresses changed. Thank you for your time tonight, board members, and thank you for serving our Blue Lake community.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further comments?
Steve Schroeder, Lieutenant Blue Lake Fire Department, 8083 Russell Road. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the Township Board and the Township for supporting our annual Fire Prevention Open House, which was held October 1st of this year. We often may ask ourselves whether or not our Fire Prevention Open House was a success, but our objective is that we educate our community with a special emphasis on the children and fire prevention and fire safety. So we may not firsthand have opportunity to witness whether or not our efforts were a success, but if even one life is saved or one child protected because of the program that we put on, then it was more than a success. I also want to take this opportunity to thank some of the other departments that participated. We had support from White Lake Fire Authority, White Lake Ambulance, Holton Fire Department. We had Michigan DNR here, Berry Fire Department, Walkerville. Just to name a few of it. The Muskegon County Sheriff also supported our program. So just want to say thank you to them and thank the board for this opportunity to serve our community in this capacity.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Susan Radke. I live at 1159 West Holton Whitehall Road. My husband and I have been residents there for 9 years this month. And we did not receive a letter. Our neighbors did, but we did not receive a letter from Mr. Dornbush. So the information I have is from my neighbors, and then I just read the letter this evening. As you know, my husband is the fire chief. And for approximately 4 to 5 years during the time we've lived there, we had a joint training session at our home with the Muskegon County Hazardous Materials Department, as well as the Blue Lake Township Fire Department. We also had a search and rescue training session there, and many of the members of the Muskegon County Hazardous Materials Department are on the Sheriff's Department. I understand that there is concern of delay in response time. However, our department knows where we live, knows our road, and I don't think that we've had a delay in response time. We had 2 emergency calls on our road within the past few months. When did your mother pass away?
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago, and then we had another response time just about a month ago, and the response time was within a good amount of time. So I'm not concerned about that at all. Another thing that was addressed in the letter was a structure fire. Now, I'm in the medical profession, so I'm not sure about structure fires, but my understanding of structure fire is a building, either a garage, a home, or something that's made out of wood. In the 9 years that we've lived there, there has never been a structure fire, and in speaking with my neighbors, they're not aware of any structure fire, if that is indeed what a structure fire is. So I think there's been some erroneous information given to Mr. Dornbush, although I do thank him for his concern for our safety and well-being on our private drive. But we feel we're okay, and I would ask you to please not confuse all the people that we send mail to or that we receive mail from. Our address is Houghton Whitehall Road, be that as it may. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes.
Well, if you know, I'll keep my address unknown. I think it's a great thing that finally somebody is bringing up an issue that has been growing in the township for quite some time. 3/4 of this board has been aware of the issue that has been going on in this township when it comes to where these houses are placed in and what their addresses are and how do we get to them and when were they put in there. We don't know. We have many roads, just like Whippoorwill Lane, Raymond Road, just to name one. Okay, we have quite a few of these. For one person to have concern and to put some concern, some light out there that there's an issue that certainly needs to be addressed, we're talking about response time. Okay? We try to minimize that in the fire service. We try to minimize that in our own personal every day-to-day. We don't want to waste time trying to track down something we don't know where it's at. We have those issues. We've been brought to the township board several times in the past, yet it's been swept under the rug. We're going to attack one gentleman because he brought up an issue of Whippoorwill Lane. I think the people that should be attacked is the township board. The township board has been brought aware of this 7 years ago. Fact of the matter is, the township board made motion by Mr. Fred over there to send me out to take photographs of these, document those, put them in a binder. I currently still have those. This is not an issue that's just here today or the last month. This issue's been ongoing for a long time. Fire department knows these issues. This is the reason why that we, on the fire department, years ago, decided we were going to put together a map book for these trucks to minimize response time. Can't tell you if that ever happened. I know as a zoning administrator, there's many areas within the township that the addresses are not where the houses are at. The roads are different. We've got some off Brunswick Road. We've got some off Blue Lake Road. We've got some off Raymond Road, and obviously we have them off Old Whitehall Road. It's an issue. It should be addressed. I'm glad finally somebody's putting the light to it, so now finally this board can start looking at exactly how does the address numbering go in the township. Because obviously we know that at the corner of Skeels and Nichols, those numbers jump by the thousands within 800 feet. Oceana County knows that just as well because they tried to correct it and never got finished, never got followed through on. When we talk in response time, according to the emails that I've been getting, I think our fire department has missed the boat. It wasn't a matter of is the fire department getting there in time, it was how many times do you got to drive around a block to get there? How do we change that? By the map books, by knowing where the addresses are within your community. That's what we're talking about. I thank Bob for bringing the light back up because I brought it up quite some number of years ago and it's been swept under the rug. I certainly hope the board takes the time now and finally to put an end to it. Work with consumers. Work with the road commission to try to get all this stuff figured out. That's what we're all here for, is work together, get the problems fixed, and move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Hearing no other comments, meeting's adjourned at 8:15.
Yes, you did. Good job. Nobody
Yeah, I've got documentation. Hey, Fred.
Right? You've got a set amount for. Guys, take care of yourself.
Mr. Fred, holler at me and I will get your van fixed. Again. I want to shake your hand and withdraw. Yeah, because you have a good evening.
Yeah, I don't have clothes. We are going to Florida.
You are going to go to Florida? Good.
I think it needs a line because it wants to do this.
Sure, that's not a wheelbarrow.
Well, I don't know. That's why I take it for somebody to know what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get a look at it. So certainly give me a holler.